All right, welcome everyone. Today I'll be showing you how I clone cannabis with water only in the Easy Cloner and how you can replicate this very simply with, people make these at home or you can buy them pre-made. The Easy Cloner is very inexpensive and you can see we have excellent results so far. These are actually, I would consider them a little overdone and they're ready to be transplanted right now. So I could have transplanted these days ago, but my intention with using them is with these deep water culture buckets, the root spot buckets, and they really do work best when the roots can reach all the way through the mesh. You can see how quickly, this plant was just planted a few days ago, maybe a week ago, and when they reach the water right away, they grow much faster. You can see the difference in, they're all transplanted the same day, but this one took a lot longer to take to the water. So I really do like to wait till the roots get very well grown so they can reach right through that basket, because I have a bunch more of those buckets. I'm gonna fill them. But this is really simple. It's just these pump is going to spray. So it's just essentially aeroponic cloner. So it's spraying constantly. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. But it's just spraying water constantly at the bottoms of the plant. I'll show you what this stem looks like. Beautiful clone. Very simple machine to use. I just run it constantly. I don't, you can see here, I've got all these lights connected here. You can hear it kick on. And a lot of people will run a timer. Let's see if I open this one, I'm sure it'll shoot water everywhere. Yeah, you can see that. So it's just shooting water everywhere at the bottoms of the plants, and there you go, non-stop. And that's all it takes to get these to root, is a constant spray of water on the plants, stems. I don't use any rooting hormone on purpose, because I've found that using rooting hormone, I get mold, or maybe not mold, but I get a bad smell. I have the stems get very kind of mushy and they don't root as well. And I think it's just because maybe I just didn't change the water enough, but what I found is that by using just plain water and changing the water frequently, I have really good results with that. So I change the water every few days. I just use plain water and adjust the pH down to 5.5 to 5.7, anything in that range, but generally I just try and set it at 5.5. And I have great results with that. So I'm only using water and pH down, phosphoric acid, and I have great results with that. And you can see that these roots are excellent. That's exactly what I want. Everything looks pretty well, and you can see the discoloration. They want to get out of here. They're fully rooted. They want nutrition now, and now they're at the point where I need to get them some nutrition, and that's when I move them over here into these buckets. That's when I'll start giving them the full feed. Up here, you can see a few different types of clones. These are overdone as well, because I just didn't really need them. A little bit of overkill. And then these are just a bunch of house plants, and you can see them rooting in water, just in a regular tube. You can root cannabis this way as well. It's not difficult, and I could use some rooting hormone in there and just change that constantly. But we have many different types of clones here, and I just like to showcase that this is a very, very easy way to produce a lot of clones with very minimal effort. And also, people will put this on a timer and they'll let it run for 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off, or they'll do even minutes at a time and say run for this many minutes and then shut off. And that does work. I've saw someone get good results with that, but for me personally, what I do is I just run it constantly. I just plug it in and let it go, and I use water only. And I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of people who say you can use rooting hormone, you can use nutrients, you can do this, you can do that. And I've just tried a few of them, and just from opening it up and just smelling like a bad smell, I was just like, okay, let me just try with water. And the water just works fine. So maybe you could do it a little faster with rooting hormone mixed into there. And I've used a few different types. You can see the liquid version of Clonex, the Clonex itself. I've used a few different types, but I just found that this works best for me. And so I always like to say there's many roads to the same destination. So if you find something that works better for you, feel free. But I just want to show people hey, this is working pretty well. This might be something you could consider. And then you see the pump down there. There are, there's an inlet, I think you can see it here, where the water flows in. Once the roots get this big, you really do want to take them out of here as quickly as possible. Otherwise the roots go into the pump, and then they'll clog the pump. You see the nozzle here? See a little bit of root coming out of it. That means roots got into the pump, are getting pumped out of there, and it clogs it. So this is right now, today, I'm gonna transplant these and get these out of here. But I just want to share a few points about the cloner itself and just how, like, I mean, this is a very inexpensive product. It's very cheap, it's very effective, and it has uses. Like, I can transplant these into soil, cocoa, whatever. But for me, because I'm going into deep water culture and I use these for my mother plants for clone production, that's really useful for me because they grow so quickly. I'm not flowering in these buckets, but I am just using these to grow mother plants, stock plants for clone production. So this is really useful for me. You can also clone cannabis just in floating water like these houseplants are. I don't have any active to show you. Or you could do the typical method with peat moss cubes, rock wool, or even into soil. Like, there's a lot of options that you can use, like this batch here. You know, there's so many options you can use that everything, you know, like I said, there's many roads to the same destination. There's a million ways to get a healthy clone. It's just a matter of, you know, which one do you want to try out? And I found good results with the Easy Cloner. So I just want to kind of share what that looks like. And, you know, obviously this is a little more practical for, you know, large scale production. These are overdone, but that's just nice for if you're using aeroponics, you're using deep water culture, or you want to try something different. So I just want to share kind of the progress I've had with this. And someone had asked a question about it, and they were asking, you know, they keep having issues with theirs because of molding, because of the nutrition they're using with it and stuff. And I just said, you know, I use water only, but if you're going to use nutrition, if you're going to use nutrients or a rooting hormone, just change the water. Just change the water frequently, every 2 days, 3 days, to make sure it's really fresh in there, and you don't have bacterial buildup and things like that. So that would be what I would like to say about this today. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask. If there's anything I missed, just feel free to just, you know, leave me a comment, ask a question. I'll get back to you really quickly. Cheers, everybody. Stay up.